Good morning, Shiraz. Good morning, Metropolitan Fellows. Good morning, Metropolitan Fellowship followers. No, we are going to speak about Shiraz today, and it's going to be a short and very quick presentation addressing a huge challenge Shiraz has, which is a very strong rapid growth. And as my knowledge, I have not seen a consistent, comprehensive approach to locating that growth, which is, we are going to see the figures now, which is quite relevant, and it's breaking the structure of the city and will compromise, jeopardize the future of Shiraz as a city and as a metropolis. And as you will see, the message is that Shiraz cannot handle on its own that growth, and it has to structure the metropolis to share the problem and to share the solution, which is the only solution as we understand. We are going to provide today that solution to that challenge Shiraz has. The name of the presentation is Shiraz, Fasten Your Seatbelt, because it's going to be a difficult ride in the next years, and you have to bundle up the metropolis to harness that rapid expansion that you are experiencing. This is a presentation from the International Metropolitan Fellowship. It sets up the methodologies that the Metropolitan International Fellowship has to address the metropolitan management and metropolitan planning. And let me tell you that Amir Kerwashar is the Central Asia chapter leader. And if you want to follow up what we are going to discuss today, the person to talk to is Amir, and I'm sure he will be very happy to discuss anything with you. Shiraz is now 1.7 million people, but in 30 years, if we follow the trend, is going to be 2.7 million people, as you see by that curve. That, as you see, we have been quite conservative, moderate, and we are following an asymptote to that curve. But even with that kind of slope falling down, the figure is going to be 2.7 million. And the family, the Iranian family and the Shiraz family is changing its structure. Up to now, it's becoming the nuclear family. That means the parents and the kids. And that is 80% of the family network from the previous extended family with the parents and uncles and a more larger family. So now we are focusing on an urban family, which slows down the size, and we are dealing with the nuclear family. And you see as well that that family is every time smaller, because the rate of birth, the fertility rates and the rate of birth is slowing down in all developed countries. And Iran is in that process. So it is falling down, and the families are not anymore families of 8, 9. They are families of 3 or 4, and that rate is falling down. So now the family is going to be in the future around 30 years from now, which is the necessary vision for planning a metropolis. 30 years. The family is going to be 3.8 members per family. What does that mean? That means that if in 2012 there was 1.5 million population, and that means around 400,000 households, no? And let me move this so you can see the figures. Not easy, not easy to move around. So as you see, with 3.91 members per family, that was in 2012, but in 2020, that has changed a little, but you will see the effects of that small change, 3.9 members per family, and in 2050, 30 years from now, from 8 years, from 2012 to 2020 to 30 years, that will be 3.85 members, no? But the effect is that that population of 2.7 million people if you divide by the average family size, the 3.85, that means that you will need 700,000 dwellings, where now you only have 423,000. That means that you have to grow of 278,000 dwellings in the next 30 years. That is new dwellings plus an actual deficit. No, so the whole thing will make as you see, 320,000 dwellings. That means 11,000 dwellings a year. You are building 11,000. And if you don't adapt, if you don't provide the land in the right places, those dwellings are going to be built anyway, because people need to live. And they are going to be either in a deficit, they are going to join another family, and they are going to be lived cramped in a single house, or they will build whatever they can, wherever they can, because they have to live. No? So if we think about 60 dwellings per hectare, which is not the best would be 80 dwellings per hectare, but generally what is achieved is 40 dwellings per hectare. But I hope you will be able to manage that land, to manage that growth, and that will be 60 dwellings per hectare. So you need every year, you need 1.8 square kilometers, 1.8 square kilometers of new land every year to locate those 11,000 dwellings. And in 30 years, that means 53 square kilometers. And in the image there, you see what 50 square kilometers is, which is more or less 60% of actual Shiraz. So you need in the next 30 years to build 60% of actual Shiraz. That's not growth, that is an explosion of development. And if you don't do it right, you will find that it is inefficient, because a city which is not planned adequately is inefficient, it's not economically competitive, so it lags in the international competitiveness of metropolises. It is unequitable, because the people that have to build wherever they can, or they have to live crowded and so on, you are not doing a social policy to provide the right housing for the people that need it. And it's unsustainable, because the locations of those lands, of those buildings, are in the wrong locations, and it is unsustainable in the long term. So Shiraz is a 3,000 years or more city, and it is experiencing in the next 30 years, in 3,000 years, it has built 100. In the next 30 years, it's going to build 60. No, so it is an explosive growth, and you have to have a vision of the metropolis, because that is not anymore to be handled by Shiraz city. It has to be handled by the metropolis, and that is the purpose of this presentation, and that is what we are going to present: how the metro matrix, the way the metropolis are managed, applies to Shiraz. So you see, from city to metropolis, that is the future of Shiraz in the next 30 years. But metropolis are in a larger context. Cities are in the context of a metropolis. Metropolis are in the context of countries, and countries are in the metropolis in the context of continents, and continents in the context of the world. That's what we have seen from the previous slide. You see, we have different scales: 150 is architecture, 1,500 urban design, 1,500 urban planning, 150,000 metropolitan planning, so on and so on and so on. And we are moving in Shiraz from urban planning to metropolitan planning, from city to metropolis. And so we have to see the larger context. You see that the location of the main three cities of Iran are very strategic locations. They are not just because it happened. No. There was a thoughtful mind, there was an intelligent purpose behind, and you see that they are all located in areas of high rainfall. So they have the water from those areas of high rainfall, which is the darker blue, and they are close by, and they are in a straight line, as you see. So there is a structure of the country related that locates and structures the metropolis in the country. We have to realize that. Iran topographic pattern, the directionalities. We will see later on that metropolis all have directionalities, and we're going to look for the directionalities of Shiraz. The country has one main directionality, which is the yellow lines there, and that is the location of Shiraz, and it's obvious by the structure of the country. And as you see, all metropolises have those directionalities. This is 9 metropolises, and as a matter of fact, the one in the left center is Tehran. And as you see, Tehran has a very strong directionality, which fits the directionality of Iran. So there is a dialogue between the scales, and the national scales dialogue with the metropolitan scales, and the metropolitan scale dialogues with the urban scale. And that's what we are going to see. And again, for those who have any doubt, look at the rivers of Iran, the structure of the rivers. That directionality is, again, very strong. And we don't need to discuss this anymore. Even the frost days, the moist, the rainfall, the temperature, you see where Persepolis is, where Shiraz is, and those are the 2 lines what really organize the metropolis of Shiraz. So we have those 2 directionalities. One is from the northwest to the southeast, and the other is perpendicular to it. And we are going to understand the mechanisms of the metropolis following these directionalities. And these directionalities, when you go into the urban, you see those are the valleys of Shiraz, and the cities, the cities within the metropolis around Shiraz. And you see that all those valleys have that same directionality. So what we have is to bundle up these valleys together to create a cross integration of the metropolis of Shiraz, and not just have valleys separated and difficult to access the one to the other, because the growth, the explosion of the city within the metropolis and the share of that explosion in different urban centralities and locations is what it is. A metropolis is not at all like a city. A metropolis is a set of urban units that share significant daily commuting, and a city is an urban continuum around a center that grows within the environmental context. So the singularity of a city is the polycentric structure of the metropolis is completely different, and we have to understand that to work with. No? So you see the different cities that are within the metropolis of Shiraz. I don't know the names by heart, and you have them there, but obviously the 2 important ones are Persepolis, and it goes up to Marvadish to the south as well. No? And here you see the ellipses are not anymore the valleys, they are the mountains. And you have a very strong structure of mountains broken by passes between the mountains. And Shiraz has a transversal cleavage that links some of those valleys across the pass of the mountains. And that has been used for the urban expansion of Shiraz, an urban expansion that should not have already been urban, should have understood the metropolis and should have develop it in a metropolitan structure rather than the urban structure. And the metropolitan structure means that the environment goes within the metropolis, between the cities, the cities, the municipalities, and in an urban area, no, it's the expansion of the city in a continuum. So that is the main difference that Shiraz really must approach right now. So you have the mountains, you have the transversal cleavage, you have the valleys, which are not located there, but you see those yellow lines show the continuous, the connection between the valleys, between the mountain ridge. And you have the rivers in blue, you have the 2 main rivers that mark the metropolis. And when we're dealing with a metropolis, we're dealing with a completely different set of discipline and knowledge from a city. To make a comparison, a city's psychology, you are dealing with a single person, so you are doing psychology of a person. But a metropolis is how many cities relate to each other and organize a system of working together, and that is sociology. You know, Psychology is completely different from sociology, and you are not meant to be a good sociologist just by being a good psychologist, and vice versa. So this is a new discipline, and all that I am saying, I am not expanding, but this is about the new discipline. And if you want to follow up and to do some research and to understand what we are doing, I suggest that you take the Metropolitan Inception course that is in online free access, and Amir will be very happy to show you and at the end of this video, I will put the link to that course. So this is the context of all the metropolitan area, no? And you see that it's not only the Valley of Shiraz, it's is several valleys together, and the mechanisms of our metropolis is not anymore an urban transport system like the BRT, like the buses, like the BRT, even the metro is not metropolitan. The metropolitan structure is rail, commuter rail, that allows people to move 50 kilometers from their place of living to their work within an average of 30 to 40 minutes in those world metropolis that work accordingly, right? No? And we want Shiraz to be one of those world metropolises that grow accordingly, right? No? So you see here the lines of the structure of the metropolis, which are all parallel because they follow the different valleys, which are sequent and parallel to one each other. And we have there as well the metro, the extension of the metro, with that I must congratulate whoever is responsible for that, because that metro has to link with the rail, has to go through the rail station to link the two systems together, which is really the metropolitan dimension. No? And so you have here the structure of Shiraz metropolis with those parallel valleys, and what we have to do is to bundle them together to make of them a single metropolis instead of different cities within different valleys. And when they work as a metropolis, they will be able to share a labor market, to share a housing market, to share, and the size and the capacity of the metropolis multiplies. When you double the market, the area in population of a metropolis, you increase the efficiency of 15%. And so that is the efficiency of mass public transport for a metropolis. We have to bundle those valleys together with transversals. The main directionality, as I mentioned, is the north, west, southeast one. And what we have is to bundle them together through different links, not only one, because if you only have one and that one link collapses because any excess traffic, an accident, whatever, then the metropolis is stuck, is collapsed, is completely congested. You have to have several alternatives in such a way that if you go from, if you have any segment that is collapsed because of any accident or specific reason, you can use the other segments to go from one to the other. Shiraz has a problem. This is not a metropolitan, just a metropolitan problem in terms of physical planning. It is economic, no? Shiraz is away, is 100 kilometers away from the axis of export. Export, I know that now you're suffering this embargo and so on, but someday it will finish. And obviously the wealth of metropolis is the base economy, what we call base economy, which is the exports of the metropolis. And the exports can be by plane or by boat, by maritime freight. And you are 100 kilometers away from the access of Iran to the Bandar Bushehr port, and that is a problem that you have to solve. No? Those 100 kilometers should be a highway. The train should in some way be linked as well to the port to be able to take the goods of Shiraz to the external market, to the international market. But that's another issue. This is not a metropolitan structuring issue. So as I mentioned, the metropolis works, the good metropolis, the metropolis that we are planning around the world, that are the leading metropolis around the world, do not work anymore in round shapes. We are not doing anymore ring roads. Well, some civil engineers still are thinking about 1912 when Otto Wagner in Vienna established the ring roads, and some are still doing that, but we are not really doing that. We are structuring it with, as I mentioned before, many transversal roads in such a way that if any of those collapses, the metropolis still works because you have alternative travel paths, no? And if you have a radial and an orbital system, you don't. When one of those radius collapses, the collapse extends to the whole metropolis. So this is the basics of metropolitan management and planning, and I invite you to learn about the discipline and not just keep with what I'm presenting here, which I am just mentioning elements of the discipline which are not enough. But for you to remember, we are moving from playing dots with everyone has to be in the center, and then the center is collapsed, like right now in Shiraz. No? We are playing chess. We are moving to play chess. And every one of those cities, of those municipalities, have their own specific role to play in the chess. One will be the king, obviously Shiraz, the queen, the bishops, the knights, the rooks, and the pawns. And every municipality will play its tactics within the overall strategy of the metropolis, and that's what makes chess a much more intelligent game than dots, and the power of the metropolis to work as a whole. No? So that is our future, and that is the way to manage a metropolis. So you see, this is the pattern. This is the structural pattern. The valleys that already have the roads that link them along the valleys, and what we have to do is to cross and to link those valleys among themselves. The main line is obviously the generatrix of that system, which is here, the black line, and you already have a road, a highway, and that has to be promoted and capable of standing all the traffic that will require that backbone of the structure of Shiraz. But as well, you have to expand, and I don't think you have thought of that yet, no? Expand the metro line, the green line, you have to expand it to link to the rail in Baghdad, because you cannot just have one single point where the urban structure and the metropolitan structure link, that will be now the rail station, because then that place, if it has more than 300,000 users per day, it collapses. No? So you have, and again, if you have an accident there, the whole metropolis collapses. You have to have alternative accesses, and you sooner or later you will have to develop an expansion of that metro into a commuter, and we will see what kind of characteristics that can have. No? Then you have to stop the invasion of the lake, which is in terrible situations and polluted and so on, and you have to stop that invasion and to produce. And you already have parts of those connecting lines. You see in white line, straight lines are the existing roads, no, that have to be protected, expanded, and avoid the encroachment of activities along those roads, unless they are highways and they have a way of dealing with those encroachments, no? And then you have the dotted lines, which will be the connections to make a continuous and then to work as an axis of development. You have in the other side, to the northwest, the distributor, the metro distributor. And again, you already have a road there. I don't know the characteristics of the road, but that is a way of avoiding entering Shiraz urban structure if you are going across these valleys and you are working on the west, and that is for heavy trucks and so on, do not need to enter the urban structure. Heavy freight should never enter the urban structure, should always go by highways peripheral to the urban structure because of pollution, because of danger, because of risk, because of many things. No? Then you have the urban west border distributor. Again, you have part of it already built, and it has to be extended by the dotted line to work as a real distributor and not collapse the existing roads. And then you have the Central East distributor. Again, you have part of it which is there, and what you have is to expand it to link to the next valleys and to the next axis, horizontal axis, and to create that network of grid, of reticular system of the metropolis that works. Here is the structure on its own. These are all the parallel and the perpendicular lines from those two directionalities of Shiraz. And I have as well located the metro line that has to be expanded in the two directions, but mainly on the direction of the rail station to link to the commuter rail. These are the existing roads already in these directionality. As you see, it's much easier because they don't have to cross mountains, they don't have to go through passes. So you already have an urban structure of those reticular lines of those directionalities, and they only have to be expanded in the periphery to make really a consistent system. Those are the parallel ones, those are the perpendicular ones that we have seen one after each other. As you are seeing this presentation in YouTube, you can always stop. YouTube, you can take grab the image, think about it, talk to Amir, talk to myself. We will be very happy to discuss the development of all this with whoever is interested on that development. So you see here is the existing structure that has to be understood, selected, and expanded to make it a consistent structure that has not yet been planned for or managed with. No? I took the structural lines, so this is already the existing road structure that has to be protected, expanded, and developed. When we go to mass public transport, we must understand that again, in scales, you have the bicycles and the pedestrian, which is the micro-urban, the parish, the neighborhood, the neighborhood scale. Then you have the urban, which is the BRTs, the tramways, the buses, the taxis. Then you have the metropolitan, which is the commuter rail and the metro. Then you have the national one, which are the rails, and the international, which are the planes and the boats. No? And what we have to is to link those systems together, as you see in those rectangles, blue, red, and green. You have to link those modes of transport to make the whole system of the metropolis work as a unit, work in a comprehensive and consistent way. And here what we have is to connect metro and commuter, and to develop a system that will serve the whole metropolis. As I said before, in developed metropolis that work around the world, you take 20 to 30 minutes to go from anywhere in the metropolis to anywhere, to your workplace, no? And that is the average. So I don't know what are the times, the timing in Shiraz, but really you should not, Shiraz is not a huge metropolis, 1.6 million people. It's not a huge metropolis, but you will grow to 2.7. And that really is already a large metropolis, so a metropolis. So you really have to prepare yourself to that numbers. And if you don't, Shiraz is going to be a mess in 30 years' time, more than maybe you feel it is right now. So the metropolitan mass public transport, you do have this system, bravo, great, not many cities with 1.6 million have the metro, and you have to expand that metro to link to the rail, and you have to develop a commuter service within that rail that will be linked to the metro, and that will put together the whole metropolis. And again, this is the need to link the rail to the metro in an area's expansion of Shiraz that has to be as well controlled. You not only need all these alternative locations, municipalities, which if they are served by the commuter rail, are location of the possible land, housing land necessary not only Shiraz has to produce that land, it's all the municipalities together that have to produce that land, provided that they are all accessible by mass public transport to avoid the excess use of the car. So all these municipalities have to have their station, their urban centralities. We cannot go into that. That's metropolitan discipline, urban centralities, and so on. But those municipalities should not merge into a continuum that puts the environment away from what the city is, because the environment has to be interstitial within. So the growth of Shiraz to the north, northwest is already taking a kind of continuum form, and should be the interstitial areas of environmental quality of agriculture should be protected to avoid that kind of situation. But the link between the metro and the rail, which is my point, is essential. And as you see here, these small blue ellipses show the areas of expansion of those municipalities to link to the commuter train. And then all those are areas of possible land management for housing, to provide for those 50 square kilometers of housing that you have to produce in the next 30 years. You have to expand the green line to Baghdad, and the train station, metro station link will be an urban centrality that has to be developed with the techniques of urban design 1500. And we are not going to go into that, but we can see that on the inception course. So this is the structure, the vision of how the metropolis of Shiraz has to work. And you see that you have there the two as well, not only on the shape of the road system, but as well on the shape on the mass public transport system. You have again the two directionalities that are present. And this is an example. This is, I think, by the flag, I think it's Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. And you see it's not really a commuter train. No, it is a metro, a good metro, but is using rails that can become sooner or later a commuter train. That's why you don't have to make it so expensive at the beginning. You can have an incrementalist approach according to your budget and your capacity and the demand, because obviously the feasibility studies have to prove that the demand will respond to the infrastructures and to the services that you are providing. Be careful, because it's not only the existing demand or the induced demand that generally transport plan is analyzed. It is as well to account for the inducible demand, not only existing and inducible demand. And the inducible demand is the one that you will provide by building those 50 square kilometers of housing, 2 square kilometers each year around those stations that will provide the demand for the commuter rail. And that generally the transport planners do not account for, because they are not urban planners and they do not realize the capacity of land provision to provide for that extra demand. So here is the whole picture. You see the rail and the metro lines connected and providing accessibility to all those municipalities that will be able to house the expansion of land. And here is the network of roads, not only the conceptual structural lines, but the network of roads that will create that kind of consistent structure for Shiraz. No? And remember, Shiraz has to move from being a city to being a metropolis, and the metropolis has to grow your vision, not to be short-sighted. You have to expand your vision, and you have to understand that all this system has to work together. And that is the success of metropolis around the world, that are the leading metropolis, the world metropolis that we so many admire. So final slide. You have a huge challenge. Really, Shiraz has to fasten its seatbelt. It has to bundle the metropolis to be able to harness the rapid expansion. You are suffering and that I don't see it addressed in the right dimension. That is 53 square kilometers in 30 years, almost 2 square kilometers each year. Where are you putting those 2 square kilometers each year? And where are they in 2021? Where are they in 2022, 2023, et cetera, for 30 years? So it's not just planning a few social housing locations that are not even 11,000 dwellings. Probably they are in the range of 1,000 and so on. It is 11,000 dwellings every year that you are building and that you have to plan for. And as mentioned at the beginning, this is an International Metropolitan Fellowship proposal, program, and Amir, who is the leader of the Central Asia chapter, will be very happy to expand with you any development. Thank you very much.